friends, I'm excited about this, and I hope you will be too. As we know, it's citrus season. Wintertime equals citrus. I've already shown how to make citrus powder. I have how to use citrus powder coming in the next citrus video, but I had to show you this because it is one of my very favorites, and I wait all year to remake a new batch. Today we're going to do citrus that we store in jars in raw honey. It is fabulous. I'm using grapefruit, I'm using orange, I'm using Meyer lemon, I'm using regular lemons, and I'm using limes. You'll get all the different flavors. The honey becomes so enriched with that flavor, with the oils that come from the fruit. It is incredible. The things you can use it with, you can use the flavored honey in your tea, obviously, herbal teas, especially if you have a tea garden and you grow things like we do, but you can use it in marinades, you can use it in sauces, you can use it in vinaigrettes, you can use it in all sorts you can make baking syrups, so many things. Anything that would benefit from a little bit of sweetness and a little bit of citrus, the world is your oyster. And this is the time of year to make it because you can buy beautiful fruit for the best possible price. If you can avoid buying citrus in the middle of the summer, it benefits you because the price is outrageous and the fruit is coming from really far. And if we can just get into the habit of working with things when they're seasonal, where we live, our budget benefits and the quality of the food that we get is better. So I'm also going to show you what to do with all the trimmings because we don't waste here, remember. So I've got these jars. Now I love these. These are just these parfait jars, and they're a lot of fun to serve really cute desserts in, and I do it all the time, yogurt and all homemade ice cream, and you make the sauces, all the things. It's fun, but they're also great for doing things like this. Now this is not a ferment so much as it is almost like an extraction, but it's going to take place for the most part in the fridge. Only for the first 24 hours does it stay at room temperature, and then we move them all into the fridge sealed shut. Only for the first day, for the first 24 hours, we leave them just like that, with the lid just sitting like that. And because of how easy this is, I really like the snap-on lids. It's great. And because of the size, we can get a lot of fruit into them. They're beautiful in your fridge. And we have to live with this. Our pantries, our fridge, everywhere. This is our larder. And this is the place where we work hard to pay for it. We work hard to grow it. We work hard to do all the things. We should be able to look at it and see art. So with that said, I'm going to get everything else all set up. As always, I have a printable for you, and I'm adding a second one because I realized I didn't give the instructions on how to do the secondary thing that we're going to do with our trim. So before I post this, I'll make sure I add that. The printable is going to be down below in the description below the video. Okay, did I get everything? I did. Now, one more thing. I requested an improvement in the weather. I'm unhappy. This is cold, and between the hot flashes and the freezing cold, I don't know whether I'm coming or going. So I requested a weather improvement. And I said, God, please help me out here. I'm freezing and I'm hot at the same time. And God said, let me help you out. And he threw snow. I'm unhappy. Somebody fix it. We'll be back in a minute. So it's very important that we're using raw vinegar. Now we have our own hives, but I have used up all of my honey. I didn't get as much as I had hoped this year. That's okay. Next year, this coming harvest is a new year, new you. So I usually order, when I run out, I order from Azure Standard by the gallon. My order doesn't come until another week and a half. So I got raw honey from Amazon, and I don't necessarily know this one, but it had a lot of high ratings. I'll link it if you need something like this, but it's important that it's raw. Now, it's very important that we're going to slice our fruit between 1/4 of an inch and 1/8 of an inch. We want it thin. We also want to make sure that we've removed the seeds. And so what you're going to do is going to make sure that your seeds are gone. So you do it one by one, and you lay the fruit down as best you can. When it comes to the bigger fruit like oranges, it's going to ride up a little bit. That's okay. You just make sure that there is no seeds. The seeds bring a lot of bitterness, and we don't want that. So we're just going to keep going through, and we're going to squish this down. Your hands have to be very, very clean, which mine are. Am I the only one? I'm sure I'm not. Where you wash your hands so much that your skin gets dry, and it's really frustrating. I am out of my homemade moisturizer, so I have to actually do that again, and I make it with calendula, and it's fabulous. And we grow our own. We'll get to that. I'm just thinking about it because my skin's bothering me. All right, anyway, so you want to make sure that you've got really beautiful fruit, scrubbed well. Organic is best. If that's what you can get, please do. If you can't, then you have to really do a good job of washing the skin off your citrus fruit because it's covered in pesticides and who knows what. It's disturbing that we have to go through such effort to get them not to put chemicals on our food. Whatever. I'm going to get upset again for what? All right. So now we grab a simple butter knife and we're going to just pour our honey on, but it's not so easy to get it to cooperate. So we're going to put that on there. Let's move this. We poured our honey on there, and then with a butter knife, we slide it backwards so that we can make room for the honey to travel down. Now I overfilled, and I'm going to make a mess, but that's okay. Better me than you. Okay, so you're just going to slide with the butter knife, and that's going to move. See, I'm making a gap right here with the knife, and you see the level of the honey drop. Okay? And it's very important that we have no air gaps. So this does get a little sticky. That's okay. We want to make sure that we have added as much honey as we can get into our jar. So I've got a nice gap here, so I'm going to put honey right in it. And then swirl and stop. Now I'm going to very slowly lift out. I lifted out too fast once, and I got honey in places one should not have honey. All right, so this takes a while. I'm not going to have you sit here and watch me do this because you have to just keep moving the citrus around, and it goes in between the layers. It eventually falls in. And as the extraction starts, the juice from the citrus starts to thin out the honey and makes it much easier to work with. And you'll see it starts to fill in between the layers. So, but it's very important. You've got to use the knife. And that really does get it going. And once it gets started, you'll find, like right now, it's already starting to move much better for me. Yes, I have honey running out the outside, right on this side. That's fine. We just use a hot, clean rag to clean that up after. But now you saw there was so much honey sitting up at the top, and now it is mostly down the sides, and I can see it filling in our layers. So I'm going to move this aside, set that there, let it be a mess, it's fine, and we grab the next one. We're going to do the same thing. You know what we can do with smaller fruit? We can put a little bit of honey right at the bottom. Don't put too much. We're doing the limes. Now limes, God love them, they don't have seeds. So we can just stack much faster. And we keep going. Now when you get the ends, I missed this one, go in our scrap bag. They do not go in our little jars. But we're not wasting them. They have a wonderful job to do, and they'll do it well. I promise. So now we're going to start pushing down. Now that one is going to take longer. Obviously the citrus is much bigger, and there's a fold because did you hear my brain come to a halt? I did. I swear I heard a screech. Okay, there we go. You see that? Push down. The fruit is a little larger, so there's a little bit of a fold. So that one always misbehaves. Orange and grapefruit, they fight back a little bit, but that's okay. They're worth it. They're worth the trouble. Like being married, we're worth the trouble. The stickiness is sending me over the edge, but I go through this every year, and every year I say, I'm going to remember to wear gloves. I have never once remembered to wear gloves, not one time. Now we're going to press down. Do you know when you're canning and you have to debubble? It's very much the same concept. You just want it, there should be no air gaps. There needs to be fruit and honey. And when this is all done, we're going to make a nice little bath in the sink, nice and hot water, so that we can make sure the jars are spotlessly clean, Don't let the stickiness drive you crazy like it's driving me crazy right now. I'm pretending it's not, but it's a lie. Okay. Oh, my aversion to sticky. If this weren't so delicious, I'm telling you, I would not do it. Okay. Now we're going to let that sit and drink up. Next. Now, Meyer lemon. This is the only time of year that I have them readily available to me. I adore Meyer lemon. However, just know they're seedy. So you want to, before you drop any in your container, watch for those seeds. You know what's fun is seeing how many seeds you can get to germinate with organic fruit. I know we're not supposed to say we do that. And I'm not saying we do that. But I am not opposed to growing seeds from fruit that I purchase at the market. I mean, it's my fruit. I paid for it. I've got a receipt. I know that there are certain very big companies that would be upset with me. I don't sell them, so I'm not making any money if they're going to call, send over a goon to come and yell at me. But I've had good luck. I've grown. Now, remember, when you're dealing with hybrids, you don't get the exact fruit that you started with from the parent. And more often than not, at the supermarket, they're hybrids. But that doesn't mean what you do get won't be delicious. I've gotten some amazing peppers that way. Okay, so we're going to add. Make sure that you label these because the lemon and the Meyer lemon look very much the same once the honey is in. You can tell the difference now because the Meyer lemon has a more orangey flavor, orangey color, but it disappears under the honey. So make sure you're ready for labels. I am going to pause this because having you sit here and suffer watching me do this is absurd, and I don't want to do that to you. So when I come back, the ridiculousness of this will be over, and I will show you what we'll do next. I'm telling you, this is one of the fastest ways. Oh, a seed got past me. You jerk. This is one of the fastest ways to make something truly incredible to have on hand. It makes great gifts because it's so pretty. It's delicious. And you can reach into your fridge and come up with a marinade or a dressing or an additive to a sauce or even something delicious to drizzle over at the end of a dish that maybe is a little spicy. So you want to balance it with something that's got a little bit of sweetness to it and a little drizzle of a citrus honey. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Okay. I said I was going to turn the camera off, but I'm sticky. All right, I'm going. And layer the fruit. Now this is lemon. The lemon is so, I'll say that about every one of them because I love them so much. These are not that common here in the United States, but it is very common in Europe. When you've got a piece like this that's mostly pith, leave it in the other pile. That's going to add more bitterness than we're looking for. We want the flavor, and obviously it's citrus, so it's certainly going to have a bite to it, but we're not looking for bitter. Bitter is kind of unpleasant. When you wake up in the morning after this has sat for 24 hours, you're going to check the level of honey, and there's a good chance it will have dropped because every little air gap will have had time to fill in. So make sure you have enough honey to top off. It is very important that there be no exposed fruit. Now with the smaller fruit, obviously there's plenty of room. The honey will slide down the sides. But we want that butter knife that we had set aside to make sure. So we're going to take our clean knife. This has just honey on it. And between jars, you can you just get your knife really nice and hot under the tap, and then make sure it's dry. You don't want to introduce water. Okay, and we do this all the way around to make sure we've got honey going all the way down the sides. I scrape along the top because now there's a lot of lemon on there and I don't want to lose that either. Now there's more room. We top off. Now we're going to leave the lid ajar, just like that. It's covered so that no flies or any little creatures come and disturb it. And then after 24 hours, we snap the lid shut. I'm just gonna close it now so I don't spill it everywhere while I do the next. We have extra. On a homestead, there's no such thing. No such thing as extra. We use everything. So I'm going to take a moment, and the ones that are the slices of fruit that are already done or that were not suitable to fit in my jar are going to go into the dehydrator. Then I'm going to show you what I do with the trim that is not even suitable for this. As I said, we don't waste. Too much work goes into this. Even if I had these trees growing in my yard, I wouldn't dare waste. Okay, so you get the idea? I'm gonna finish this up. I'll be right back. Okay, so other than the ridiculous sticky event that just happened here, I have a real thing about sticky, so this was no fun for me, and I go through it every year. But it's so worth it that I tolerate it, and that should say something because I really have a thing about sticky. Anyhow, you see how they go. Now, I have the lids on so I can show them to you. I will lift the lids and just leave them just like that for 24 hours. So it's 5:30. Tomorrow at 5:30, I will snap these shut and they go into the fridge. And all the instructions, how long they have to wait for you, everything is going to be included in the printable so you don't have to try to remember it or write it down. It's all there. I have the extras that I ran out of jars before I ran out of fruit. I have them on a dehydrator tray going already for me. Now we're not going to make powder out of those. I have enough powder. I'm going to dehydrate those and leave them whole and put them in jars and then pull the air out of the jars. Why? Because they are so beautiful when you're setting a table. They're beautiful when you make a cup of tea or iced tea or even a glass of water and just float a dehydrated piece of citrus right over the top. It just makes the simplest little things in your life beautiful. And that's what we do here. We do simple things that are practical beautifully. That's the goal. And deliciously, even more important. Now, we had all of our trimmings. We do not waste. In this jar is a gnat, which has the nerve. Okay, I'm not going to get upset about it again. We've all been through it. Okay, this is vinegar. And this is just plain white vinegar, nothing special at all. Okay, and this is all of our trimmings. Now this is, so a lot of people may know that you can use lemon or even orange. Orange was really popular for a long time, making orange vinegar clean with. When you have mixed vinegars, mixed fruit, especially citrus in this case, the oils from the complete variety actually give you a stronger degreasing property. This will end up being the most incredible degreaser. It'll be very, very strong. You'll have to dilute it. But the smell is incredible, and it will clean everything. I mean, it will clean it beautifully. And we made it with the extras from something else we had already done and the cheapest vinegar money can buy. Okay, so we're just gonna fill it until we cover it, and we're gonna seal it and stick it aside in the back of the pantry, make a note to ourselves so we don't forget it there. The way I do that actually is I have a bulletin board, and I keep notes to myself on my board because I can be forgetful. And if it's something that I have a habit of forgetting, I actually will put it into my phone and put the ending date on my phone as an alert. And on that date, it'll say check vinegars, it'll check ferment, whatever it is, because I have so much stuff going at once, it works better for me that way. So the smell of this vinegar is making me nauseous. I hate white vinegar, but when it comes to cleaning, for me, that's the only purpose white vinegar serves, is for cleaning. I don't ingest it. No. Not when we can do all these amazing vinegars and then you come across that. Blech. Anyhow, I really hope you love this. This is such a good one. It is so easy. This is a project you can do really quickly with the kids if you can tolerate sticky. You're going to have to drop those kids in a bath immediately, but they will have the best time ever. I will see you next time. I'm so excited. I love this. I'm going to open these lids. I'm going to set it aside, and I'll see you next time. I'm going to get closer in a minute so I can show you close up. I love you. I'll see you next time.